Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show with Coach Jason Allen. We're here at Monte Alban 3 on the north side of Lafayette, and we want to thank Luis and Roxana for hosting us as usual. And you have plenty of time to get out here and enjoy some great food and spend some time with us. And tonight, we are brought to you by Farmers and Merchants Bank, and we certainly appreciate those guys. And before Chet and I get talking together here, I want to give a special shout out to Kent Nelson for taking over the producing and directing task tonight. And for there, let's just talk. Chester Carter's here with me as usual. Chet, welcome. Glad you're here.
Hey, glad to be here, and good to be here at Monte Alban again on Thursday nights for the Coaches Show. Good crowd tonight, even though we have half of everybody down in Abbeville supporting the Lady Rebels down there as they take on the Abbeville Generals. The varsity, just give a little update on that real quick. The Lady Rebels fell short this afternoon, lost 3-1 sets, but the JV is still playing right now, and if we get the score on that one, we'll relay that out to you as well.
Absolutely. We'll try to give some updates before long. Well, Chet, we've got we're going to talk about it, so let's just go ahead and start. Just very briefly before we get into the segments, we ended a 12-game winning streak Friday night against a tough Starkville team, 35-31 in Starkville, Mississippi.
Yep. It was got to give props out to all the fans who'd made the trip over there, 4.5-hour drive. A lot of Rebel faithful made the trip over there to support the kids. And you got to also, give thanks to the volunteers over there. They were very hospitable, welcoming us, making sure we had everything we needed during the broadcast and just our trip over there. So thanks to them for the welcoming arrangements they made for us over there.
It's not often that the opposing head coach, Coach Nicholson, comes up in the stands and finds the broadcast team and says, if you need anything, come get me.
Yeah, very nice guy. And
awfully nice.
Talked to a lot of other parents over there, and they're excited to come over here next year for the game here. So we hope we can welcome them as good as they welcomed us over there to East Mississippi.
Well, we're not going to spend an awful lot of time on last week, but we are going to talk about just a few things. Like I said, week one was a loss. It was 35-31, and it was a very hard-fought, a big-hitting game. We did have mistakes. They had mistakes. It really – and the thing that I think is most important for all of us to remember is our guys never stopped.
Never.
I mean, we really never quit playing in that game, and you don't expect that. But the game got awfully close as we scored that two-point conversion and made it 35-31.
Yep, and we'll get into the details of that there, but that was an exciting game, and the kids played hard and, just came a little bit short. Hey, if we would have had 5 more minutes, it would have been a different outcome.
Yeah, I'm not sure I could have stood the PA in my ear another 5 minutes, but it would have been that way.
So, hey, we're going to talk a little bit about, going down to Fort Dell tomorrow. We're going to get into 3A play. They're not in our region. They're in Region 2 of 3A. We're in Region 1. Just so everybody gets familiar, as some of these names are new and now we fall in different regions now. Over there in the Region 2, you'll have Fort Dale, Escambia, Clark Prep, Monroe, and Morgan Academy. In our 3A Region 1 is Chambers, Banks, Bessemer, Edgewood, and Valiant Cross. So we're going to get used to these names as we did when we were in 2A. So.
Well, that was a little confusing to me as we were coming in tonight. I thought it was a region game as well. That was my mindset, but I see what you're talking about with the splits in the region. And again, we're moving up to 3A. The regions are different, so we'll get used to that very quickly. We will make our way tomorrow night to Fort Dale, and they're coming off a 27-0 win over Crenshaw. So we'll have ample chances to get out there and play well and get win number 1.
Yeah, a little 2-hour trek down to visit the Eagles down there in Greenville, Alabama. So make the trip on down there. I think, I know the game kicks off at 7, so a 2-hour trip. Make your plans accordingly. If you can't make it down there, you can always catch us here on Chambers Academy Sports Live. We're going to get on the air probably about 15 or 10 till 7 and, get the game underway. And a little quick fact about this matchup, Sid, is the last time the Rebels played the Eagles was in 1985, and we won 20-0.
And this will be our third ever contest together in football, I believe.
Yep. Yeah. Right now it's split 1-1.
Really, really interesting that it's been that long. Let me just give you guys a quick recap, just very briefly, about what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk. Chester and I will talk about the game at Starkville a little bit more in depth. Not spend an awful lot of time on it. We're going to review some of last week's production and stats, which were gaudy to say the least. We're going to talk to Coach Jackson, Coach Dillon, and then we'll talk to Coach Allen in our final segment. So, and during at the end of segment 2, we'll talk about our offensive, defensive players of the game and our impact player of the game. So, from there, what we'll do now is we'll take a short break, get in some words from our sponsors, and we'll come right back and go to segment 1.
Farmers and Merchants Bank, established in 1934, is your friendly hometown bank. With 3 convenient locations in Dadeville, Hughley, and beautiful Lafayette, Alabama, Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve your personal and business banking needs. Great rates, great service. Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve. Give them a call at 334-864-9941. Farmers and Merchants Bank, proud supporters of Chambers Academy.
All right, folks, welcome back here to Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show with Jason Allen. What we're going to do now is just give a little recap of how the game went last week over there in Starkville, and go through what happened there, and then we'll get into some stats in the next segment here and go through that. So the Rebels came over there, again, like I said, a great trip over there by the faithful, followed the kids over there, great turnout. I mean, as David panned out over there when we were there at Starkville, the amount of the sea of blue over there was amazing. So, thank you for all the people that came over there, and also the ones that watched and, was giving comments on the YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate that as well. So, as the first quarter got underway, the Vols won the toss, received the ball, and then Rebels shut them down. They punted over to us. And then, midway through the first quarter, Luke Tarver broke away for a 29-yard touchdown run to get the scoring started for the Rebels. And everything was, moving right along. Everything looked good, clipping along. Second quarter, the Vols tie it up early in the second on one of their rushing touchdowns. And then midway through the second, the Vols over there take the lead 14-7. And the Rebels answered back quickly with an amazing pick six by T.J. Daniel. That was before that, to tie it up at 14-all. TJ had a nice touchdown run there, and we missed the extra point, though, on that one, which that is hanging out at 13-14. And then on the ensuing drive, TJ picked off quarterback for the Vols and ran back a 92-yard pick six.
It was an incredible run. Just a great play by TJ there, and waiting on a block to happen and cutting the ball back into the midfield. Just a real big play. Yeah,
if you get a chance to go back and look at the film that David had in that angle, it was perfect the way he read the quarterback, made the jump, and took it down the far sidelines for a nice touchdown there. But quickly right after that, the Vols answered that Rebel pick six and knotted everything up at 21s at halftime. So a hard-fought game through the first half, a little bit of momentum shifting here and there. No one really gained the momentum. It was just kept going back and forth, almost like a tennis match, volleying right there. So third quarter gets underway, and the Rebels get the ball to start the second half, and couple punts exchanged there, and then the Vols broke a big 50-yard run after a questionable catch at midfield. I could have swore that the ball bounced off the turf and came into his arms, but the officials saw it otherwise. And from that play forward, the quarterback ran a 50-yard break down the middle.
If you think about that play, it came on, I believe it was a 3rd and 7, or maybe a 2nd and 7. And, the call went that way. And then the quarterback just made an outstanding run right down the middle and took it 50 yards for a touchdown to give them the lead.
Yep. And then so that put them up 28-21. Midway through the fourth, Starkville scores again on a rushing touchdown to take the lead up to 35-21. But late in the fourth, Luke Tarver steps up and rushes for another touchdown and a 2-point conversion, gets the score up to 35-29. CA tries an onside kick, which caught us all off guard. We were all talking and looking the other way, and almost got it right there. I could see the ball laying out there on the other side of the 50, and but the hands there of the special teams for the Vols recovered it there at midfield. And then we had a couple different plays there and a lot of don't know how to, maybe some letting down their guard on the Vols side there. Our players played till the whistle blows, and I didn't know if they were trying to run the clock out, but our players didn't stop. And there was a couple good calls there, because there could have been a bobble on the snap, anything like that.
Sure.
And then a couple timeouts were called, and then they tried to run the ball out of the back of the end zone for a safety. And correct me if I'm wrong, was there 14 seconds left in the game at that point?
Well, I think it was reset to maybe 10 or 12. I'm not sure. Somewhere along in there after personal foul was called after the safety, the play in the end zone. And, we just ran out of time. I mean, it's very simple. I think we were in the game from start to finish. Our guys played hard and played tough all night long. And, Chet, I think you said it earlier, we played a really good football team. I mean, they had 4 athletes that I will tell you, 2 on defense that played great and 2 on offense who were just outstanding. And we matched them step for step almost. Some mistakes, some penalties, things of that nature. And, you always have big mistakes that come sometimes when you always can look for something to happen at exactly the wrong time. And I think we're certainly a victim of that Friday night. But I'm telling you, we got a good football team, and we're going to be just fine.
Yeah, it was good to get out there. First game of the season, working through the kinks and the personnel changes out there. Everybody's getting comfortable there in their positions. But what a good team to go out there and get the season underway against and challenge us and see, a good game to evaluate your personnel.
Right.
So it was a hard-fought battle. We just came up a little short there on the wrong side of the stick, and the kids fought hard. They never gave up all the way up until the last play there, and that safety, them trying to run the clock out there in the end zone. And then, our players coming in and finishing the play off because the clock was still running.
Right.
And, it was, aggressive play by the Rebels, and that's the way they're taught to play ball.
It's called tackle football.
That's right. It's called tackle football.
That was your line during the broadcast, and I think it stands right now. It was tackle football, and we did nothing wrong. So I enjoyed the effort. We all wish we could have had the W there, but look, like I said earlier, we've got a good football team, and we're going to be just fine.
Yeah, so, that's behind us now, and we're going to look forward to this coming week here tomorrow night down there in Greenville against the Eagles. So we want to take a real quick moment here and thank all of our sponsors this year, especially Monty Alban, Farmers and Merchants Bank for sponsoring this. Taffney Nelson, she does such a wonderful job with the graphics and everything, and all the pictures that she takes. And just a big thank you to her. And 2-3 Collective, again, they make all of our swag and our banners and everything. So a big shout out to them for all they do for us at Chambers Academy.
We have great sponsors, and they always show up.
Yeah, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a real quick break, and then we're going to come back and go over some personal stats from the last week's game in Starkville, and also announce our offensive players of the game and our impact player of the game. So we'll be back in a second after these words from some of our sponsors.
Craving some Mexican food? Do not think about it twice. Come visit us at Moneman number 3, located Highway 77, 1310 Highway 77, Lafayette, Alabama. We have the best Mexican food around. Cheese dip, quesadillas, farm specials, north specials, share specials, delicious salsa, the best salsa in Chambers County. Do not think about it, and also can meet the Chihuahua, Moneba number 3.
Folks, and welcome back here to Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show. Right this segment here, we're going to get down into some of the weeds here with the numbers and some of the stats from last week's game there in Starkville. The offense put up a nice sum of yards right there, 437 yards of rushing for the Rebels. Again, they left off right where they ended last year with some of the heavy rushing attack and some big numbers out there. Luke Tarver had 20 carries for 159 yards and 2 touchdowns, averaging 8 yards a touch. Jacob Norgard, 18 carries, 150 yards, again, over 8 yards every time he touched the ball. Landon Hand had 10 carries for 58 yards, and those were hard-earned yards out there. He was slicing and dicing through that defense and taking some big hits out there as well. Eli Wharton had 4 carries for 36 yards and also 15 yards receiving. TJ Daniels had 6 carries, 34 yards, and 1 touchdown.
Well, Chet, I believe this. When you put up 437 yards of rushing, you're going to win some football games.
Yes, you are.
Those are big numbers, really, really big numbers, and they're very spread across our skill players.
Yeah, a good separation there, and everybody was getting a taste of the ball on offense. On defense, the defense was led by Luke Tarver with 6 tackles. Spencer Newman had 5 tackles and 1 sack. TJ Daniel had 4 tackles and that big interception for 92-yard return for a pick 6. Landon Hand, Sam Smith, Aiden Anglin, Eli Wharton, and Drew Shepard all had 3 tackles each on the defense.
Well, it was I think the defensive effort was well spread too. I mean, we had guys making plays all over the field. And like I said before, the skill players on the opposite side of the ball were very good. These guys could run. They had great speed. Their number 22, and I'm just remiss, I'm guessing it was either Jackson or Johnson, was a very good, durable back, had great speed, and we saw a lot of him carrying the ball.
Yeah, on defense also you saw some of the younger players stepping up, sophomore. Bryce Modling had some good tackles in the secondary.
Got isolated on an island a couple of times and stepped right up.
Yeah, used the sideline nicely to protect the inside and push the receiver out of bounds. So good job with him out there, holding the offense, holding their offense to where they were at on those plays. So a lot of new names out there too we were calling as well up there on the line and in the secondary as well.
Well, it's just like you and I talked about before kickoff last Friday night. You have to just wash from your head last year's constant mentions because we had so many guys on defense. They were all around the ball. On offense, they were all exploding. So you have to kind of refresh your mind, just empty it out and start putting these new names, new numbers, and be real aware. And look, we probably missed a couple of guys, and we apologize for that. We will certainly get better. There were a few times that I was confused on some of the offensive line numbers, and we'll certainly be better at that next week.
Absolutely.
Well, it's probably a good time for us to move ahead and do our offensive and defensive players of the game first. And look, we had guys make plays everywhere. We have to pick a name, typically is how we want to lay this out. So from our offensive player of the game area, we will go with Luke Tarver. Luke had an outstanding night, man, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 2-point conversion. Just played great and ran with his usual determined attitude and doled out some punishment there. From the defensive side, I think it's pretty easy. I mean, TJ Daniel is our defensive player of the game. 4 tackles. He was around the ball all night long and a 92-yard pick 6. Just great running, great determination. Did a nice job for us. And we've announced those earlier. So now the mystery player, I guess, here is our impact player of the week from game 1. And this was a little bit tougher, but we came down finally with Eli Wharton as our impact player of the game from the Starkville game.
Yeah. He had 36 yards, 4 carries, 15 yards receiving on offense, and 3 tackles on defense. Some of the plays there at the end of the game, he was caught up in the backfield, 3 or 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage, fought off maybe 3 or 4 tacklers, and then just plowed through a couple of defenders out there to get a first down to keep the drive going.
We talked about some of the impact that Eli had, from the defensive end and from the sideline, from the offensive side. Last year in the championship game, Eli gave us a spark, and I felt a lot of the runs that he made there in that quarter were very similar. I mean, he really exploded a couple plays. One play, I had him down in the backfield on the call, and he was out 25 yards downfield. So congratulations to all our players, Eli especially here for the impact player tonight. We look forward to having another round of impact player or players and our typical offensive, defensive named players next week.
So congratulations to those guys right there. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a break here, and then we're going to come back with Coach Jackson, who's going to make it here this evening, and we're going to discuss some line of scrimmage and talk about that as in the next segment
Absolutely.
here, okay? So we'll be right back from a word from our sponsors.
Star Insurance Group of Opelika, Auburn, Montgomery, and Greenville. With all of life's demands, buying insurance is probably low on your list. Luckily, there's someone who's looking out for you and putting your needs first. A trusted friend is right around the corner. The team at Star Insurance can provide you with great protection with a personal touch. When it comes to understanding your needs, you want someone who can listen with understanding and care. You want professional advice with a personal experience? Whether it's business, farm, home, or auto, their team can help. They're not just agents, they're members of the community. Farmers and Merchants Bank, established in 1934, is your friendly hometown bank. With 3 convenient locations in Dadeville, Hughley, and beautiful Lafayette, Alabama, Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve your personal and business banking needs. Great rates, great service. Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve. Give them a call at 334-864-9941. Farmers and Merchants Bank, proud supporters of Chambers Academy.
All right, folks, and welcome back here to Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show at Monty Alban. We have Coach Jackson with us right now, and we're going to talk to the coach about some of the activity last week during the Starkville game. So how are things in your world today?
Pretty good today, Church. Thank y'all for having us. We appreciate y'all doing this. Had a pretty good day of practice today. Seemed like my guys, up front. Just walked through, of course, and ready to go down and get this taste out of our mouth.
That's right. Put that game behind us last week and move forward, looking at the rest of the season as we, get ready to start playing in our conference here instead of over in Mississippi. So give us a little taste of, how you felt the line did in controlling the game last week in Starkville.
Yeah, you watch a football game live, sometimes hard to tell. But, that stat line, when you were getting yards, getting first downs, had long drives, I think there toward the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter, right there, we had a drive 16 plays long. So, you're getting first downs there. Went back, looked at the film, looked at everything. I think we did a pretty good job of controlling the line of scrimmage from our guys up front, And it's like I told them in practice after we watched the film and everything, broke that down, of course there's always going to be some little things, you're going to clean up, head placement, feet, stuff like that. And usually, week 1 to week 2, that's before you make those improvements. The one thing that I was pleased with, and that's what I told them, I said there wasn't a lack of knowledge. Everybody knew what they were supposed to do. We didn't have any bust that way. And there wasn't a lack of try. We had plenty of try all night, full speed, that type of thing. You always want to block longer, and that's game type stuff. You're coming out of practice where everything's quick whistle and stuff like that. We can probably tighten that up, but it still wasn't an effort. There was no effort problem at all. Guys were coming off the ball, flying around. There was some people. We've got we really just returned 2 starters on the offensive line from last year. That being Drew Shepard and Spencer Newman, and then. We added Jacob Bradley at left tackle there. Now, Jacob has a lot of experience. He's a junior. He's played in some situations last year where he I can't remember if he actually started a ball game, but he played in place of the starter whether injury or something like that.
Right.
He played a lot in the ball game, and we had all the confidence in the world in him. We also have Gabriel Bridges playing at the left guard, and if you remember how much he had to play in the championship game last year, stepped right in. So had a lot of confidence in those guys. Got a new face at center, John Caulfield. He's a senior this year, and so I was pleasantly surprised with him handling the snaps and stuff like that. That's a lot on the guy. Never done it before as far as starting the ball game there, and was pleased with him. Not perfect. None of them were, but pleased with what they did, and just looking to get better this week, moving forward and build on what we already had because, those guys behind them, they're going to run the ball hard. We know that. but I felt like, you know, we came off and gave those guys opportunities. You know, maybe this week it will even look even better. I do got one. He's not one of my middle five, but we also added a new tight end to the rotation this year, graduation, Colton Fuller. And, you know, Colton stepped in and he's played, the orange back up until now. And and he stepped right in. And I told Coach, you know, watching him in practice, I said, you know, he might not be as big as the tight end we've had in the past, but I have all the confidence in the world in him because I watch him in practice and he's going to block you however he has to do it. It might not be, you know, what we're used to seeing. It might be unconventional, but he will get you blocked.
Yeah, we saw him out there, and it was we could see the effort he was doing to make the plays out there. So that's good to see the want and the effort out there from him as well.
Coach, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Who in the world said that we didn't control the line of scrimmage?
Well, you know, it's hard,
I said
to say.
I said it, and I was
It
wrong.
might rhyme with nickel.
I tell you, I said it a couple times, and looking back and talking with you about those numbers, I was wrong. I mean, look, 437 yards, and when you and I were just talking, when you were chastising me strongly, which I felt like I deserved. I'm just kidding. When you talk about those yards, and when you talk about that long drive, the only point that I will make, because I was in error when saying that, it was a quiet 437 to me, and I think the game was a little choppy, and like you had explained, we didn't have that gigantic pop run as much as we used to.
You know, and you listed off, you know, like Luke with 29, 30-yard touchdown run there.
Right.
You know, I mean I consider that an explosive play, but what I was thinking was those long drives. Hey, let's give them credit.
Absolutely.
That was a good football team we were playing. They had a really good kicker, kept us, you know, kind of backed up, made those drives are going to be longer.
Wow, no kidding.
You know, and you know, you ask those guys to block, you know, that many plays, 12, 16 plays.
Right.
You know, and to not get a penalty or something like that, you know, not have a blunder. You know, that's. I mean, if you really break down the stats, it's really 5 or 6 yards a carry. You know what I mean? That's
It's quite impressive.
pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think about not only just the yardage, but if you look at the scoring, and you look at the fact that we were never out of it, so we weren't really getting beat on that line. And I think one of the things I'll say in my own defense, we did control the line of scrimmage so dominantly last year. I think that impression may have been frozen in my head, but our guys, as I looked at the game film today, I will definitely agree with you. We really played those guys man up across the board with young players taking new positions, and I look at it this way. I think your offensive line performed really well.
That's right. I mean, I think they did, but like I said, you know, I've got a list of stuff that, you know, went through and broke down film, and we've got that corrected, or, you know, tightened up a little bit. And I think this week we're going to go out, and what I expect is to blow those guys off the ball, open up gaping holes like everybody wants to see, and, you know, everything.
and run for 600 yards.
That's right.
One other question here in first game of the season, hot conditions and everything. How was the conditioning of the kids?
Well, you know, to tell you the truth, we were a little blessed. It seemed like it was going to be really hot, and it was still when we got there, and it kind of, that humidity kind of went away a little bit, and it was still hot. Don't get me wrong, it's Alabama, Mississippi, whatever, same thing. And so you know, we had a couple kids cramp, but out of the total thing, I think maybe those kids missed, you know, 6 or 8 plays. The combination of 2 or 3 kids, and so you know, I've seen in the past where, you know, first game of the season, you know, you may have a kid, he may cramp up, you can't get the cramp out.
Yeah.
Right.
He can't go back in. We're in that situation, you know. All the ones that we did have, rub them out, get them something to drink, a little mustard, whatever.
Yeah.
Get them back in there, and they were able. You know, it was still bothering them, of course, but they were able to perform. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, typically those first games of the season like that, you know, I mean, every second play is stopped
Yeah.
for a player out there with cramps. So I saw, but I didn't see very many. I think I saw maybe one on their sideline and one or two
Yeah.
during a play
Yeah,
out
and
there.
that's what I'm saying. They had a couple. I noticed they had a couple
Yeah.
where they toted the kids off. Well, they had played a football game the week
That's right,
before.
yeah.
They had already played, and at some point you got to. I mean, you can run all you want to, but you got to get in game shape.
Yeah.
You got to play into it, and they, so and those guys. We were playing a lot more kids both ways than they were, so they were rotating their kids around. So I thought we
Yeah.
held up well.
One other thing, Coach, just thinking about what you'd said earlier, and I do remember it being that way as well. You had said you didn't see very many missed assignments, and I think that's really crucial when you're in your first game with a lot of new players. They were studied up, they knew what to do, and they went after it.
They did. We didn't have that blunder where this guy guy gonna make a play sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes he makes a play, but we didn't have it where somebody looked like, I forgot what to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
That didn't happen.
And you didn't get anybody wrecked. It wasn't a mistake that got a running back or a quarterback.
That's right.
Just wrecked.
That's right.
Any injuries coming out of last week?
I think we're pretty good. I think
Okay.
we're pretty healthy.
Good deal. Well, Coach, we always appreciate you coming in and spending time with us. And I certainly appreciate you taking a better look at the film than I did, and certainly watching the broadcast better. And I know you're kidding. me.
I broke down our film, then I went and wrote down your film,
I agree.
and I made sure it lined up.
Well, listen, I'm not going to sit
tighten it
here and argue with the offensive line coach of the Chambers Academy Rebels. Look, your line played well, and I think sitting here talking about 437 yards kind of says all of it.
Yeah.
And we expect that next week. And congratulations on getting that game through and having your line play that well. We'll go over to Fort Dale tomorrow night, and we'll try to bring back our first W this season. Coach, thank you again. Folks, we're going to take just a brief break hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Farmers and Merchants Bank, established in 1934, is your friendly hometown bank. With 3 convenient locations in Dadeville, Hughley, and beautiful Lafayette, Alabama, Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve your personal and business banking needs. Great rates, great service. Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve. Give them a call at 334-864-9941. Farmers and Merchants Bank, proud supporters of Chambers Academy.
Craving some Mexican food? Do not think about it twice. Come visit us at Moneman number 3, located Highway 77, 1310 Highway 77, Lafayette, Alabama. We have the best Mexican food around. Cheese dip, quesadillas, farm specials, north specials, sherry specials, delicious salsa, the best salsa in Chambers County. Do not think about it. And also can meet the Chihuahua, Moneman number 3.
Shepherd Homeworks, established in 2004, headquartered in beautiful Lafayette, Alabama, serving East Alabama, Lake Martin, and West Georgia. At Shepherd Homeworks, we specialize in custom cabinets and millwork built in our very own cabinet shop. Contact Stephen Shepherd at 334-234-1180 to make your dreams become reality. And go Rebels!
All right, folks, and welcome back here to Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show at Monty Alvin. We have Coach Dillon here to talk to us about this segment. Coach, how are things been going this week at practice?
They've been going really well. The guys are focused. It took us a couple days to get over that one. That was a tough one for everybody involved. I know it was really tough for the fans. It was what a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
What an awesome
Absolutely.
atmosphere it was. I mean, to start the season off against such a quality opponent, it was just unbelievable. It was fun. It was a fun game. Those tight ones are always fun. You always remember those tight ones.
Well, Chet and I were talking about it during the broadcast. The schools, I think I'm back. The schools are similar. It's kind of like the atmosphere around the
Yeah.
place is the same. The people
yeah.
seem to be the same. They're very welcoming.
Absolutely.
And we had a great feeling going in. And look, I believe we played a really good football team Friday
Oh
night.
my goodness! The film did not do them justice. How big they were, and they were fat. I mean, you know, they were fat. Their team speed was really, really fast. You know, and then a quarterback was a freaking player.
Well, the number 6 had great speed and great vision in my mind, and then you come back after you have to deal with him with a smaller running back, number 22.
Oh, my
he's a
goodness.
brute. I mean, he just kept pouring it on.
Yeah, he was a player too, and you know he didn't have to take a snap of on defense, you know, and you know
That helps.
imagine if 30 for us didn't have to
yeah.
play defense, how many yards he would have. So it's, you know, I thought the depth was definitely a factor. They definitely had us in that department. I thought that played a factor, being our first ball game, and being the fact that they had already played in a 4-quarter ball game against a really quality opponent. You know, that I think those are all attributing factors. Not to take away from what they did, you know, they're a really good football team. But I think, you know, if given us, you know, 5 or 6 weeks under our belt, I think we put on a much better performance.
Did you feel, Coach, if you look at the game, I mean, we came out, we were 21-21 at half, I believe.
Yep.
We gave up 14 points in the second half, and we seemed to play them much closer because big plays are still a part of that. Did you make any specific adjustments, or were they doing anything that forced you to make adjustments?
Yeah, they were doing some really clever things offensively that put us in a bind. You know, we had to respect their overall team speed, so you know, we were playing a little loose in the back end, and they took advantage of it. They ran some of those RPOs, which is totally illegal play, but you know, teams run it and it never gets called. And you know, they got linemen downfield and then throwing the ball past the line of scrimmage. I mean, you're not allowed to do that.
There was something that I noticed, that the reaction of their fans when the quarterback was touched. Is there a different rule in Mississippi about when you can touch a quarterback or after the throw? It seemed like they were very, very touchy about that subject. Like he couldn't be hit if he didn't have the ball in his hands or blocked or anything.
It's just the way football has changed in the last, you know, even the last since I played, which doesn't seem to be that long ago. But the kids remind me it was a long time ago.
Yeah, that's right.
And,
we didn't have face masks when I played. So.
Yeah, that's what they say to me too.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, that's just the way it is. That's the way the game has changed. It starts at, you know, what people see on TV every Saturday and Sunday, and you know, those referees' jobs are to protect the quarterbacks, and they see that and they try to replicate that. You know, just like.
Yeah, I just didn't. The way they reacted, I thought there was a rule that we weren't privy to in Mississippi or something.
No, they just you saw what he did. You know, he was a great player. They just didn't want him.
Yeah.
You know, and what ended up happening to him was a shame. There towards the end of the game.
So if you're looking at your defense as a whole, you know, kind of, you know, if you're going to throw it out there, what were some of the strengths there, and from Friday, and some of the weakness areas?
I thought we shut down the run game. You know, I thought we did that. We did give up a few explosive plays in the run game. It wasn't because they were, you know, what they were doing. It was self-inflicted. Mm-hmm. You know, we were out of place at a few positions on each big run play, and that ended up costing us. And that just comes to, and I think if our guys are a little bit, you know, a little bit more fresh, they don't make those mental mistakes.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, that's an excuse, but I think that, you know, giving ourselves, you know, because we train and we work out and we lift and we run all summer, but you can't replicate a 4-quarter football game.
Yeah.
You know, just the way you move and your legs go, you know, your legs are usually the first thing to go, and you can't replicate that. And the only way to do that is continue playing. And, you know, give us, you know, 5 or 6 weeks, and I think that's a completely different ballgame.
Well, the one thing that I continue to enjoy seeing from your defense and these young guys is we were hitting. We had a lot of guys putting out big hits.
That was a physical football
Yeah.
game. That was a dogfight, and you know, that a lot of people may not have realized, but man, there was a lot of bashing going on in between the tackles,
Well, I also thought this, Coach. I mean, I thought there were a couple times that we could have been kind of sucked into losing our composure, and I think we did a really good job of not falling for that. I don't think it was overdone or spread over most of the game. There were a couple of instances that our guys just turned and went back and set up on the defense and played the next play.
Yeah, I mean, you can't doubt how the kids played hard. They played unbelievably hard. They never quit. You know, a lot of teams would quit when they went down 14. They're late,
Yep.
and our kids didn't quit. They didn't bat an eye, and they just kept fighting. And we scored again and got right back in the ball game. And so I mean, it was our kids played really, really well. They played fast. They played that it was relentless effort to the ball. We did bust a few assignments, but that wasn't. That's stuff that we can correct, which is all good. It wasn't due to lack of effort or, anything like that, anything that we can't correct as coaches.
After the big catch over the middle, I think it was maybe 2nd and 8, the quarterback dropped back and then broke that long run right after that play. Yep. Was that a broken assignment there?
It was. It was a broken assignment by 2 players from us, but it's very uncharacteristic of those guys to be out of place.
Right. And you're going to have that.
But to be fair, to give them credit, they ran a play that we hadn't prepared for because they hadn't. I mean, we had 3 films on them from the year past, and we had their game from the past week against Lamar, and that they ran a power read, and it put a little unique touch on it that really that hit, and we were out of place and out of position, but we made adjustments, and I think we'll be fine.
I think we're going to be a good football team. Tell us just before we go here, what are you expecting from Fort Dale tomorrow night from a defensive coordinator standpoint?
I'm excited. I'm really excited. It's another big school, bigger school than we are. Right now, it's the biggest school in the AISA, and wow. So I'm very excited. The head coach is a good buddy of mine. He went to Edgewood Academy, which is where I'm from, and he played high school ball with my older brother. And so I've known him ever since I was a little bitty kid. And so I'm excited. Never got to coach against him before, so that I'm excited about that factor.
Is there anything in their offense that's not that your defense doesn't see a lot of? Is there a typical, off tackle running or?
No, they're very similar to some of the gap scheme plays that Starkville was running last week. You're going to see a lot of the counter and all that, power football and all that good stuff. They do have a really good receiver. I think the quarterback is new. I think he hasn't played quarterback in a few years. So, but they got a really good receiver, and they're a really good football team. They're a historically really, really good football team, and tough-nosed kids. And so, I mean, we're going to be prepared, and kids are going to be ready to play. They're going to be hungry as ever.
Well, I would tell you that we're always come to expect we're going to unload, and we're going to play whoever they bring out there.
Absolutely.
And we're going to play them till it's over.
That's right.
And, I think like I said, I think we're a very good football team. I think we'll play a lot better. We'll play probably with fewer mistakes, and we'll get after them tomorrow night. So,
absolutely.
Coach, thank you.
We look forward to it.
Thank you, as always, for taking the time to sit down and go over this stuff with us. We really appreciate your insights and your frankness with us, and we look forward to having some more conversation next week about a W.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's it. We'll be here.
Folks, we'll be right back after another short break.
Lafayette True Value, located on the Highway 50 bypass in Lafayette, is the only resource for your home improvement projects. Behind every project is a True Value. James Allen and his staff proudly support the Chambers Academy Rebels. And James Allen thanks you for shopping local.
Hey, Rebel fans, Pastor Dave here from Lafayette Heights Baptist Church. We're excited again to be partnering with Chambers Academy and the Rebel football team for the 24 football season this year. At Lafayette Heights, we exist to be a biblically faithful, gospel-centered fellowship of disciple-making disciples. And if you don't have a local church, we would invite you to come to Lafayette Heights and find a place where you could be encouraged spiritually and a place where your whole family could be loved and cared for. Go Rebels!
Chambers Academy Coaches Show with Coach Jason Allen, and we have Coach Allen here for our final segment. Coach, it didn't turn out the way we expected it or wanted it, but give us your take. I know you and I talked briefly Sunday. Give us your take on Friday night's game.
Well, I'm sure that y'all have probably said this ad nauseum, but I thought our kids played extremely hard. They laid it on the line. We played with great effort. I thought we were very physical, which is what you want to see as a coach.
Right.
We made some mistakes. We knew we were going to make some mistakes first game, and that's just part of it. You got to start somewhere. You hope your mistakes don't kill you. I thought it was a game that we should have won. I don't remember ever rushing for over 400 yards and losing a football game in my career. But hats off to Starkville. I thought they had a good team. I thought their quarterback was I thought he was the difference in the game with some of the throws he made and then the long run that he made there in the third quarter. But I wouldn't trade our guys for them. I thought our guys were warriors. I thought our team played as hard as any team I can remember playing for us on a first game one football game. And so I'm really proud of our guys. I'm really proud of where I think our team can be. We just got to clean up some things.
Well, I would say this, and I said it last Friday night, and I've said it since. I believe we're a very good football team. I think we're a solid football team. And look, we wanted to win that game, but we didn't win it. It's not a region game. So we'll come away from Starkville. We'll take the positives out of that, and we'll get focused on starting the 3A play. We'll play against the other side of the region, and we'll set our sights on winning another region.
Yeah. I don't think we're a very good football team right now, but I think we can be a very good football team. And I understand where you're coming from, Sid. I think there were three things that were crucial for us, the reason we didn't win the football game Friday night. And it was turnovers, it was penalties, and it was big plays. Yeah. And so you want to limit those in a football game. And I can't remember the last time we gave up two long runs like that in a football game. It's been a while. And so that's very uncharacteristic of our team, but it was just one little thing that made that happen. And our guys will get better. I really think it's an advantage when the other team has already played the week before. Yep. So they had the opportunity to work out some of those bugs that plagued them in week one. They made some mistakes in the first game that they didn't make against us. But all in all, I thought it was a positive for us. We could have played somebody that we were a lot better than, and we wouldn't know anything about our football team, even if we had won the game by 4 or 5 touchdowns. So I thought it was a good night to gather a lot of information about our kids, and I saw a lot of things to really like, and then I saw some things that we've got to correct as a coaching staff. And I lay that on us as a coaching staff. We got to do a better job of giving our kids a chance to be successful. And we will. We're learning about our team. Last year we didn't hit our stride until about mid-season almost. And so, I think we're kind of in the learning phase here, especially I know that I am offensively, of what we can do well and what we need to maybe scrap and put to the side.
Well, looking forward to tomorrow night against Fort Dale, Is there anything that you're going to try new, or you're just going to continue to do our same thing as you planned out with against Starkville? You have a different game plan against the Eagles?
Well, we have a base system that we're going to run no matter what, but we can tweak things to help us against certain defenses or certain formations or what you say. But, everybody knows what we do. We are a heavy run, play action team, and we like to attack you on every part of the field with our run game. And we run a lot of misdirection. We run a lot of buck sweep. We run counter. We run a lot of jet sweep. We feel like we've got 3 or 4 or 5 guys that can really run the football, that can put pressure on you. It's not just one guy. And so we'll continue to let our system dictate how we're going to attack someone else. But for us, it's never a whole lot of just putting new stuff in every week. Okay. It may be pulling something out of the chest that we just haven't run quite as much.
Gotcha.
Last year, Coach, we went down to Lee Scott, and we had a tough night, had a kickoff run back against us, and we won 12 games in a row and a title. Coming out of this game, there's one thing that stuck in my mind about, I think it was just before half, we had TJ's big interception run back for a score. It was 1:30 on the clock, and we gave up a long run back. And it kind of had the same parallel, because last year I think Lee Scott scored right before the halftime. There were some similarities in that game in my mind. Did you see that or think that?
Yes, and I was disappointed in the kickoff. We ended up being penalized twice, and we had to kick from the 30.
Right.
And then we let them run the ball back to our 35 with 1:10 to go. So, we really put ourselves in a hole there. And then we gave up a big play on the pass play over the middle there. I thought that was kind of a momentum changer for us. We really had the momentum after the interception return. If we could have went into halftime up 21-14, I think things may have been a little different. I don't think we came out of halftime with as much intensity that I would have liked to have seen in the third quarter, and we didn't play particularly well in the third quarter. But that's something for us to learn from as a team, and for our kids to learn from, and so and we will. But we got to do a better job right before halftime of finishing. Those last 2 minutes of the first half are really important.
One other thing I just wanted to ask you about from the offensive set or the offensive play calling. Did we run more counters Friday night than we would typically run, or is that just the way I was interpreting it?
Yeah, we ran some counter, we ran some trap. We got a lot of running backs on the field this year. Jacob Norgard is playing the position that Kareem was playing, but Kareem was obviously more of a pass-catching guy that ran routes and did some speed sweep stuff. Jacob, his talents are different. He's a bigger, stronger kid that's got really good speed. So in our formations, we're trying to figure out ways that we can attack with Luke Tarver, we can attack with Norgard, and we can attack with Eli as well. We don't want to just use honing in on what we're doing offensively. So we did run a lot of misdirection. Sometimes it was counter blocking. Sometimes it was not. But I thought we blocked plenty well enough to win the football game. We can get better there. But we did some really good things up front. Our tight end really well. I thought 2021 Eli Moore just blocked his tail all night. I saw a lot of unselfish play. And I tell our kids all the time, how you play without the football determines how much you love this team or your teammates. And so I saw a lot of kids that love their teammates Friday night.
I completely agree with you. And we talked about during the broadcast, we certainly talked about it afterwards, how these guys continue to back each other. They continue to really stay together. And I think that's where a lot of that just do not give up, because you don't see that drop off and it starts cascading. Nobody makes that first move, and we just keep hitting.
Yeah, our kids don't panic, and like you said last week, Luke Tarver said, we don't quit. Our families, we don't raise our kids to quit. And so, we kept playing hard till the end. We did get down 2 scores there, but we did what we do. We drove the ball down and we scored. and gave ourselves a chance with an onside kick that we were really close to getting.
Well,
That caught us all off guard.
That was a great scheme in my mind
Yeah.
because we're visiting with each other, and the next thing I know, the ball's on the ground, and we thought for a second we had the ball.
Yep, that'll be our surprise kick, so we call it roly-poly. And we roll that thing, try to roll it 10 yards and get on it instead of lining up like a conventional onside kick like they were expecting, and so we almost got it.
The other thing that we talked about was if you're going to run the clock out, you can drop back and take a knee. If you drop back and you stay up, I see nothing wrong with getting contact.
No, we were not at wrong. We were not at fault there. If you're going to take a knee in football, you take a knee, and I think it's really hokey to take a knee out of the shotgun. I think it's just, I mean, you're just saying that we can't take a snap under center.
Yeah.
The way you should kill a clock is, and we practice this, is take the snap under center, and when the ball hits your hand, the center keeps his hand on the ball so that if it was a fumble snap, he's holding it there extra, and his knee should go down immediately, and there should be two guys protecting him. So what they were trying to do is take the snap and then run around
Milk
and
the
kill
clock.
4 or 5 seconds. Well, if you're going to do that, then you're going to risk getting your quarterback hurt, and on top of that, if you don't block our defensive tackle, which they didn't do,
Right.
you know, there's going to be a wreck happening.
Well, we're going to play tackle
Yeah, I mean,
football
we were
all
playing
night.
because we had a chance numerically to take 2 timeouts, and they had to punt.
Right.
Now, if we see that we don't have a chance and they can kill the clock before we can get it back, then we'll call the kids off and say, hey, let's just let them take a knee if there's nothing we can do. But the game was in the balance.
Coach, I thought the same existed on the intentional safety. If you take the safety and you run around the end zone, it's incumbent upon the defense to knock you out of bounds or to stop the play or
Run
end the
out,
play.
yeah, run out of the back of the end zone, because we could have tackled him and stripped the ball and gotten on it and gotten a touchdown and won the game.
I thought the execution there was appropriate, and I thought it was the right way to play it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think their coach probably had that meeting with their kids Monday and said, hey, this is what we should have done, and this is what we should have done. But, you know, it didn't happen.
Well, they were a well-coached team. They had good talent. They had a lot of speed, and I think we played them awfully well. We're going to go to Fort Dale tomorrow night, and whatever they run, whoever they run out there, we're going to line up and play them awfully hard.
Yeah, we're going to be physical. And, you know, a lot of people don't know this. I told the kids, if this was college football, game day would be at this game because we're ranked number 1 in the AISA and Fort Dale's ranked number 2.
Right.
So this is the marquee matchup in the AISA this weekend. And there's going to be several radio crews that have contacted me that will be there at the game. A lot of media attention, and this is a big football game. We have not played Fort Dale since 1985, and I don't remember that. I was too young, but
I wasn't, but I don't remember.
Well, we'll be the game day.
yeah,
down
okay,
there, okay?
yeah. So we're excited. I know we're going to take a good crowd with us. Golly, did you see the crowd we took to? We had as many people
Unbelievable.
almost as the other team.
It was an amazing thing when we kicked that ball off. It was just a solid blue field to see a family across from us. It was really an awesome turnout. And it just shows what this program stands for and how we're backed. I just think it's a great testament to the entire CA family, the coaches, the players. It's really a good combined effort.
Yep, I agree. I was disappointed. I was disappointed for our people that drove that far, and we didn't get a W for them. I really was. We talked about that all summer. But I know our people are going to still support this team, and I think there's a really bright future and a lot of good Friday nights ahead of this team.
I agree with that. Chet, do you have anything?
I'm good. I just want to make sure Jason doesn't have anything else to add.
No, just thank you guys. I appreciate it, and we get to line it up again tomorrow night. And it's always great to play for the C and the A.
That's exactly right. Folks, we'll be back for our final segment in just a minute.
Newman's Farm Supply, located downtown on the square in Lafayette. Contact them at 334-864-7006. Family owned and operated since 2011, Newman's carries feed for all of your animals. Tucker Milling, Sports Mix, Value Pack, along with deer feed, corn, hay rolls, alfalfa bales, pine and wheat straw. Newman's is also an FFL dealer. Newman's also reminds everyone to get their CA gun raffle tickets. Raffle starts November 1st. Isaac Horton, proud supporter of Chambers Academy, would like to thank you for your support in the coming election. Go Rebels!
All right, folks, and welcome back here to Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show. We're about ready to wrap it up here from Monty Alban. Again, want to thank Farmers and Merchants for sponsoring the Coaches Show this year as well. Real quick, we want to give a shout out to the Pee Wee squad. Went down to Springwood on Tuesday and won 24-0. So congratulations to those guys. And just a great, again, that's where these guys are fielding these kids up, starting them off young and working up through the system there. So good job to the CA Pee Wee squad.
Coach, Chester, I'll tell you this. One of the things that I want to say about our broadcast and our association with this coaching staff, it is really a privilege to deal with these guys, all week long, but especially at this coaching show. You can ask hard questions, you can dig, you can kind of disagree, and we all work through all that just fine. And I couldn't be more proud of working with this group of coaches and having them represent our school.
Oh, absolutely. We, get compliments all the time. People come up to us about how well coached they are and how everything works out there. So it is a privilege just to be here with these guys here and what they do. And they pour in everything into these kids to make them better athletes and better people in the community as well.
Well, they're straight shooters.
That's right.
I can tell you that.
That's right. So, folks, we're going to be heading down to Greenville tomorrow. We'll come on the air a little bit before 7 o'clock and bring you the game between the Rebels and the Eagles. But, folks, if you can make the trip on down there, 2 hours down to Greenville, come on, hang out with us. We'll try to be setting up there a little early with the game day crew for the 1 and 2 matchup against the Rebels and the Eagles. So, folks, again, come down and see us, and thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow, 7 o'clock.
Everybody.